Hello guys, this is a review of the movie The Way He Looks, starring Ghilherme Lobo, Fabio, Audi, and Tess. Amorim. I probably butcher those names, but I don't speak Portuguese, even though I'd love to. I've seen some shows, soap operas specifically from that country, that are just top notch. I really love them, and they actually share the same great acting. This movie in particular was based on a short by the same person, Daniel Ribeiro. Should still be on YouTube, check it out if it is. We'll talk a little bit about what the movie is about, and I'll get into my opinions about it as well. So the movie follows the story of Leonardo. Leonardo is an adolescent boy who is trying to navigate life at that very complicated age. He's fighting to break free from his parents' overprotective ways. He is best friends with Giovana, and the movie picks up during summer break. Giovanna's kind of complaining, hey, nothing happens. I want a big romance. I want something to happen. And he's like, I'm fine doing nothing. And very soon in the movie, we are introduced to the other main character, Gabriel, who's a student transferring over. He quickly befriends the group. Now, keep in mind, Leonardo and Giovanna used to do everything together. They were like very close, and you can tell with the subtle hints that Giovanna likes Leonardo but never really states it. When Gabriel comes into the picture, that relationship takes a huge tumble, so to speak. But to kind of finish up the plot, he is blind. And I love that the movie doesn't make it all about him being blind, because he is a person who happens to be blind, first and foremost. He has a lot of struggles, and Gabriel actually gets him to do things out of his comfort zone. He realizes how difficult it is to explain some things to someone who cannot see, such as what is an eclipse. Ultimately, Leonardo opens up about his feelings towards Gabriel. The last scene is of them riding a bike. Actually, one of the things that Leonardo mentioned when he was trying to teach Braille to Gabriel, he's like, this is impossible, I can't do it. He's like, no, impossible is for me to ride a bike. So it's a really nice treat that at the end of the movie, he was riding a bike with Gabriel in the back. Now my thoughts. Gosh, where do I begin? I mean, this movie, like, I actually reviewed it years ago. It was one of the first movies that I reviewed, but I felt like I could do a better job, and kind of hearing myself now, I realize that I probably can't. It's just so good. I love how they treated the whole LGBT aspect of it. It was in a very natural way. People may erroneously believe that if certain young people are exposed to same-sex relationships, that they're somehow going to be damaging. And what this movie does really well is, like, Leonardo wasn't exposed to anything. He couldn't see. It's none of that. It's in his heart, and it doesn't have anything to do with any depravity. It has to do with what you feel inside. Based off of where the movie started and how it developed, you can tell that even he was kind of like, well, this is it, like, I'm attracted to this person. He didn't really think of it in a way of like gender. I am sticking with this. The conversations that he had with Giovanna, for example, they were about kissing girls. But what I love about this movie is that it presents the struggles that Leonardo faces. He faces bullying. People are making comments about how he uses his like, it's like a typewriter, automatically puts it in Braille. And God, I wish I would have done some research about the proper term. But anyway, he only reads Braille. So that writer of sorts makes noises. People are making fun of it, like, oh, elevator going up. And the teacher, for example, tells him, hey, you're sitting next to this kid that causes problems. She's telling one of the bullies, go and sit behind Leonardo. And he's like, no, like, that's gonna be annoying, because he's always gonna need help with something. He can't do anything for himself. I Then Giovanna intervenes and he calls her a guide dog. So imagine how that must feel for him. There's a scene where she walks him back home because it's a habit of hers, where she walks him home even though she lives 2 blocks before that. And she asks him for his keys, puts in the key, kisses him goodbye. And in this particular day, he doesn't give her the keys, and she's like, don't let him get to you. And I mean, how many times has a friend ever told you, don't let them get to you, or don't let that get to you? Like, it's so real the way that they acted those scenes, where they didn't, oftentimes, especially in American movies, they lack that realism, where if they would have encountered that scene with the situation of the key thing, it would have been like, Leonardo, don't take it too hard. You know, like, they're super dramatic, and in this case they do it in such a way where Giovanna doesn't even say anything, because she knows, like, Leonardo can't really see her reactions. A lot of what's acted, it doesn't even involve vocalizing it. Like, she's not saying, ah, darn it. Like, before she even mentioned, like, don't let him get to you, she's looking like, darn, like, he feels bad, you know? And she then thinks of what to say, which is the only information that Leonardo is receiving. Another thing, before I forget, that I love about the movie is the fact that the actor Ghilherme Lobo playing everybody involved in the movie, everybody's fantastic. The bullies, Karina, the teachers, everybody. But my God, the guy who plays Leonardo, I know he underwent training, but I mean, I even think of myself, even if I underwent training, I think it'd be so difficult to really, master those reactions of, for example, when people lean over to kiss him, even though he's kind of expecting it, it still feels like, oh. Or there's a scene where he's leaning back in his chair, and his mom is always worried that he'll fall back, so she tells, like, her husband to get him back, and he kind of goes like this, like jumpy, because you don't expect it. You're not seeing somebody reach over your chair, so you're like, kind of like, ah. And all those little things is just chef's kiss, because my goodness, you have to see it for yourself. There's no explaining that. Another thing that I love is that there is communication and lack of communication at the same time. And especially for people that age, I could think back to my teenage years, and it's so real. Giovana, for example, she feels left out. In the beginning, imagine, she thought that she was probably going to start this relationship with Gabriel. He may be the person that she has been waiting for this entire time, only for her to then slowly but surely see that her best friend since forever is now leaning more towards him. There's a scene at the party, Karina's party, where she hasn't spoken to Leonardo in a while, and Gabriel goes over to talk to her. She's a little bit drunk, and he's like, what's up, to talk to me? She's like, everything was fine before you came here. You don't know how we were tight. Now we're not even speaking to each other. He wants to do everything with you. He's not even inviting me. And Leonardo didn't do it in a malicious way. He didn't want to exclude her, but she's a little bit right, see? Because you could tell that Leonardo was taking a liking to Gabriel, so he wasn't even thinking of Giovanna this, Giovanna. He was just involved in the moment and wanting to experience different things with this person who he took a liking to, first as a friend and then as something else. In that particular scene, I want to talk a little bit about that too. They were playing Spin the Bottle, and at that point in time, like I explained, Giovanna and Gabriel are having a conversation in the restroom, and they make it so that the bottle stops at this girl who's gonna kiss Leonardo. Well, they stop it at him, but anyway, the whole point is that he's supposed to kill he's supposed to kiss this really cute girl, but instead they get this puppy named Pudding, I think, and they're about to make Leonardo kiss the dog, thinking that it's a cute girl. And out of nowhere walks out Giovana, and she's like, "What are you guys doing? Hey, Leonardo, get out. Let's leave." And once they're outside the house, she's like, "Let's go home." He's like, "No, Giovanna, weren't you the one saying that I should kiss somebody? Like, are you gonna tell me what to do? At first, I was really sad that we were not talking to each other, but now I feel like I can't even trust you." And she's like, "You know what? Screw you, Leonardo." And she leaves. And that is one of those scenes that really gets to you. It bothers me, at least, because it was a misinterpretation. Leonardo shouldn't have said those things to her ever. She was always with him. And she should have just explained what was happening, but she didn't want to hurt his feelings, you know? It's one of those things where when you are in that age and something just fires you up, you erupt like a volcano without really thinking about it. It's like, no, you know what? They've been loyal to me. They've been my best friend, whatever. You just kind of say things. Then Gabriel actually steps out and he's like, "Let's go home." He's like, "No, the party," Leonardo's like, like the party's going well. Let's go back inside." And he's like, "No, like let's leave." And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna tell me what to do too? Nobody's ever gonna kiss me." And then he kisses him. That's the first kiss that they share. And it's a realization, as you know, as an audience member, that okay, this movie is taking that type of turn, because before that they didn't make it about Leonardo being the biggest, I'm naming stereotypes, the biggest Madonna fan and he's just rainbows and unicorns. No, they made it just, this is just a guy trying to break free from the grip of his parents, like I mentioned earlier, and he's best friends with this girl and blah blah blah. They do, I don't know, the way that they carry the movie, I don't know. You have to be a genius at what you do in order to pull this off, because they made everything look so normal, so easy. And oh, a huge thing, Belle and Sebastian. Belle and Sebastian musically encapsulates the movie. They use There's Too Much Love, that particular song, and they make reference to the movie throughout the film. I can never thank them enough. Thank the creator of the movie and everybody involved for introducing me to that fantastic band. Belle and Sebastian, if you didn't know, is a Scottish band. I got to see them recently. Hopefully I still have a video. I'll post it. Fantastic show. And I mean, I listen to Belle and Sebastian almost on a daily basis. They are fantastic. And it's not, because oftentimes movies tend to use like wonderful music, powerful music, this, but it doesn't really fit. Or the movies, or the song is just too big for the movie, or the scene is too emotional for the, like, it's perfect. It's perfect. It adds to everything. It adds to the conversation. It adds to the plot. It adds to the characters. The way that it's introduced in the movie first is from Gabriel sharing about how he has another brother who he doesn't live with anymore, and they kind of got along, but not really. But one of the things that brought them together was Belle and Sebastian. They would listen to the album that song is included in, and his brother would usually fall asleep, so he'd end up listening to it all by himself. And that really gets me, like, it gives me a little bit of backstory, and I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like this, I feel like that. I hope that 10 years from now, my friends and family members could also be like, oh, you know what, I shared that music with Alberto, I shared this, and it kind of, like, I don't know, it warms my heart, and I, like I said, I'll always be very thankful for that. Another interesting thing about the movie, the character Karina. Giovanna and Leonardo are always talking smack about her, like, oh my gosh, she's this, she's that, she's so annoying, nobody likes her, look at her, like, flirting with all the guys. When I was watching this movie not too long ago, probably less than half a year ago, with a friend, he mentioned Karina isn't that bad. And she really isn't. And I'm someone who, when I watch the movie the first few times, I always thought to myself, and even when I watch it in the present, I still think that Karina was not bad. There's a scene where the bullies are like making hand gestures in front of Leonardo, taking advantage that he's not going to see them, even though he obviously senses that there's somebody there, whether it be the wind in his face or whatever, and he ends up tripping. He goes to pick him up, and she's like, Leonardo, are you okay? Do you want me to walk you home? And he's like, leave me alone, Karina, I'm okay. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But she's helpful. And then she kind of turns to the bullies and smiles, but it's like, you guys are so messed up. But she's not bad herself. And just because she's flirtatious and she likes, having a lot of boyfriends, like, what's wrong with that? That's her personality. That's her business. But I really like that they don't make Leonardo and Giovana like, oh my gosh, we're like such saints and we do everything well and everybody else is a monster. No, they're also talking smack about other people, because let's be real, at one point or another, no matter how much we try to grow and be better and be different, there's a part of us, especially hopefully back in the day, where we would just gossip and gossip and gossip and gossip. I know I had that around my middle school years, especially, where it was a lot of gossip, a lot of talking trash. Thankfully I grew. But you see it in the movie, you're seeing it in real time. And my gosh, in the short that the movie's based on, it stars the same people and they were babies. It's such a treat that they were able to get them back, because they do a fantastic job. Once again, the acting is top notch. Something else that I love in the movie is that even though it is very friendly, in like, it's not rated R, it's not extreme because it's not very sexually explicit, it's not very vulgar, but they also do have a little bit of that sexual interest that happens around that age. There's a scene when they go on a camping trip and Leonardo's very shy to take a shower with the rest of the boys, so then Gabriel's just waiting with him outside of the pool, like, can we go now? He's like, no, like, they're gonna see me, that's embarrassing. Then they end up going, and he's like, I'm just gonna shower with my shorts on, because he's very embarrassed. But then he ends up like getting comfortable and dropping them, and Gabriel looks at him and obviously gets very excited, too much, I would say. So he goes back, and Leonardo's like, are you done now, like, so fast? He's like, yeah, I'm done. That scene also adds to the whole turmoil that is building inside of Gabriel's head, because clearly he is attracted to Leonardo. And once again, Leonardo doesn't even know that any of that is happening because he can't see. Another cool scene when they go drinking, still at the camping trip, but now later at night. They go drinking, and before they start drinking, Gabriel calls over Giovana so that she could finally get to reconcile with Leonardo. Then he goes to get some drinks with Karina, and they talk about how they felt, and Leonardo apologizes, and Giovana accepts his apology, and they get back together like nothing happened and start being the best friends that they always were. However, after getting drunk, now after doing a lot of vodka and stuff, he tells her that he likes Gabriel, like a romantic partner type of way. And she's just like, I'm gonna get more to drink. And she doesn't say a thing. She doesn't say anything else. It isn't until he gets sick from getting in the pool that days later she goes to visit him, and she's like, I'm sorry that I just walked out, but I just didn't expect that of you. And he's like, well, we're living the great romance or the great drama that we wanted, because he doesn't feel that way about me. You told me that he was with Karina. And she explains, no, I know that I said that, but like, you never know, like I didn't know that about you. It's the same way. Once again, she didn't react in the best way possible, but she reacted in a human way. Not everybody's like, oh honey, I love you, I support you. Great, if that's your story, fantastic. Kudos to that person for being reliable and being real. But there's also such a thing as fudgesicle, like, that hurt me deep inside that you are this for whatever reason, whether it be religious, different upbringing, whatever. And I think Giovana was like, what? Like, I've known you my whole life. There are two elements that I want to talk about. One is the dreams. Leonardo has a dream at one point, right? And he sees shadows. It's so interesting seeing how, like, how could you dream of people that you've never ever seen? And he was jealous of Gabriel talking to Karina, which is why he had that nightmare. He basic jealousy. And the other point that I wanted to talk about, Leonardo throughout the movie is trying to get to be accepted to student exchange program where they travel to another country and they are basically temporarily taken care of by a different family. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And he asks because he wants to escape his parents who don't let him be on his own. They, especially the mom, is very overprotective. And there's an argument to be made. Like, they're not devils. They're not like, you're not gonna leave. They are just worried. One, because they're parents, and two, because they know that Leonardo is, like, people can take advantage of him easily, but it's hard for you to understand at that age, especially when you want to be treated like everybody else. Regardless if you're blind or you're not, or you're missing one leg, you want to be treated equally, and that's the challenge. And it also, the reason why I want to talk a little bit about it is because when he first mentions it to Giovana, they're laying on his bed, and she's like, don't you think they should think about it, something like that? And he's like, no, I've thought about it a lot. I do. I want to leave anywhere. I just want to be away and like be a different person. And she's like, what's wrong with your personality? He's like, I'm not the problem, it's other people around me. And you could tell right there also, back to the whole great acting thing, Giovanna's like, dude, when did this idea come about? Why didn't you tell me? Why are you not considering me? That's something also that she mentions to Gabriel when they're drunk, when she's drunk at the party. She's like, you know, he's gonna do this exchange thing, and it's like he doesn't even care that he's gonna leave me alone. And that is something that I could relate to with my entire being. Coworkers, you know, great coworkers leaving. Like, I think that when you connect with someone, not just with somebody that you casually speak to, but somebody who you just happen to connect with a lot on a deeper level, whether you hang out or not, but you just understand each other, don't just drop it on people. It hurts because when you drop it on people, it makes it seem like they don't matter to you. Like, you just, like, you're your own world and you are your own person. You don't owe anybody an explanation. But if you deeply care about the other person, which as humans we should care about each other, especially when you are supposed to be friends, then, you know, ease into it. Because when it happens like with Giovanna, I think it's the fact that he just never brought it up. And I think it's a form of escaping, just running away from his problems, which is something that his dad brings up as well. But all in all, my gosh, I mean, I could go on and on and on, and this review would be over an hour long, which I don't want it to, because I think I said most of what I had to say. The essence of the movie is wonderful. There's no huge explosions or anything, you know, magnum. When I watched this movie with my sister in Mexico, she mentioned the same thing. She's like, you know what? Nothing really happens. It's just kind of like as if a camera was recording a regular teenager's life. And that right there is why this movie is golden and why this movie means so much to me. It's the realism, the heart that it has, the beautiful scenery, lots of green. I just love so... I cannot finish with everything that I love. The movie as a whole is fantastic. And I'd give it a rating, of course, of 10 out of 10 in general, not just in its category. I will never forget the first time that I watched it and the lessons that it's taught me. And you know, movies for me are like my safe haven. They're my refuge. And The Way He Looks is definitely one of those heartwarming movies that I'll cherish forever. And I'd recommend it for anybody interested in these types of movies. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching.